Utilise square centre.
Race off the line
right
here.
now.
There's Jamski.
We're just waiting for our 6 lights.
You can see Pindelia rounds us around the back. We'll keep an eye on Burridge, who is
square centre right now. And we're just waiting for our 6 lights for 18 minutes of Goodwood action. It's either going to be incredibly close or it's going to be quite a spread affair. We'll find out in 6 seconds time how this race will go. 4 lights, 5 lights, 6 lights. And off we pop for round 4, and Butler gets an absolutely epic start off the line here. And gets ahead of Burridge and Cole to easily make T1. That was such a good start from Butler there. Timed it to absolute perfection. Burridge is just still on the inside of Cole. Lloyd is currently following incredibly close to Burridge behind. Cole is nipped in front of Burridge with a better outline through T1, but you can already see Butler's 7 tenths ahead as Burridge is looking down the inside. It's not really going to work. It's going to unsettle the car for the left-hander, and it's whether Lloyd can take any form of advantage of that in this early stage, and not quite yet. But they need to work together if they want to catch up with Butler. If they start battling, Butler's gone. And Cole's gone down the grid. How did I miss that just then? How did I miss Cole dropping down the grid? Did he literally just go off a little bit? I don't know what happened then. I must have just looked at chat for 1 second just to see Mayer saying 99% for no chaos. And all of a sudden Cole's gone from P2 to P5 and I completely missed it. And you can see that Lemmy's just ran wide there, and which means Cole's going to get in front for the chicane. Lloyd has got damage on the front left after hitting the chicane. It gets a poor exit. Butler is away and gone. And it's going to be easy times for Butler for the next 16 minutes unless Burridge can just find some absolute rapid pace from nowhere. Lloyd moves back into P4. Lemmy has dropped to P5. 66 starting P9 is now in P6, which ultimately works, but it's a massive little train of cars here from P5 downwards. And 66 moves into P5, and Letterme in the blue and black Mini is under massive pressure here. Here goes Hewis, and Hewis has lost control. Tried to go down the inside and just lost all momentum. He's now defending the inside line against Vexler. And Letterme is again falling down the grid. He's not having a good time there. And Cole, credit to Cole, Cole has made their way back up to P3 and is slowly gaining on Burridge, and Burridge is slowly gaining on Butler right now. And there goes Letterme's line, carrying quite a lot of speed through. I say, oh, who's off in front? That's Spool. Woolley in a little bit too much dirt, trying to carry too much speed. Fastest lap of the race currently goes to 66 over 122.557. And even though this isn't the front of the grid, this is where all the action is going to happen. We can see 66 is getting relatively close to Lloyd in P4. So there's going to be a battle for that position relatively soon, I would say. And Spool must have clipped the outside edge again. And has lost a lot of time. Letterme moves back into P6. Oh, Spool just about holds onto it. Good car control there. Letterme going to run wide a little bit. No. And Spool will just about hang on to P7 right now. The car behind him is Pindelia. So we go inside the European Sim Racing Championship Mini Cooper. We'll just see how Pindelia handles these two corners, carrying a lot more speed than Spool. No, it's just a single race, man. Just a single race. And you can see Letterme ahead, going wide, and that's going to give him a really poor exit. And Spool should be able to take full advantage of that if they're brave. Try and go round the outside. It's not really going to work, but the cutback might. And the cutback will. Great move from Spall. Can he keep the momentum? Pindalia wants a bit of the action here. It'd be silly to go 3 abreast down here. Oh, and there's contact. Let me try coming across.
Во, я дал
Spall had
сетап,
nowhere to
короче,
go.
уже 11
And
чуваков.
Lemmy has gone into the grass. Spall probably feels like it's their fault a little bit, but I don't really see
Еще 8.
how, unless Spall turned into Lemmy, but carnage was going to happen. Carnage was going to happen. 66 in the meanwhile is only 0.4 of a second behind Lloyd in P4. And we can see
Посмотрим, что тут
the
есть.
front, well, second to fifth could well be by the end of this race. One gaggle of cars battling for the same position here. There is not a lot in it between these front 5 drivers, including Butler, in all fairness. Butler just has the fastest lap of the race with 122.0. 122 flat, in fact, from Butler. So it's just starting to find the groove there, Butler. Tyres must be warmed up. 102% Lemmy's fault. It did look like it. Just steering across Spall. But Spall must have felt like that. He caused the issue. And the gap's now down to 3 tenths here for P4. But again, they need to be clever. Need to work together. Make sure they don't lose any more time to the cars ahead. They're already 1.1 seconds behind. As we go on board at 66 with the Union Jack Mini Cooper of Lloyd up ahead. And Vexler in P7 is also looking to maybe get a bite of the action against Pindalia. And there's Cole just locking up the rear left brake. And they've closed the gap down massively. And that's a poor drive out of the chicane there for 66. Do you get a good draft here? You can get very good draft here, yeah. Indeed you can. It's a little bit of clipping in the windscreen here of 66's car. Just there you can see it against Lloyd. Not the best textures. Let's just go back to that one so the windscreen doesn't clip away. And Vexler has fallen further behind Pindalia now, 1.6 seconds, so that battle is pretty much done and dusted. But Lloyd is looking to maybe mount a challenge up against Cole. Cole's fallen a little bit behind Burridge. And now he's in the clutches of Lloyd here. And once Lloyd finds their feet in a car like this, they are pretty racy. Quite aggressive. Oh, and Cole has hit the inside wall there. But I think manages to get away with it. Lloyd not quite getting the exit that they were looking for. 66 just at a personal best of the race so far, and now is on the back of the heels of Lloyd in the battle for P3. Pindalia 22.6 as well, 23.8 for Vexler. 23.9 for Spall, so there's still personal best coming on with 9 minutes left of the race to go. We're at the halfway point. That gap's now down to 3 tenths for Lloyd against Cole. Probably didn't hit the wall. Yeah, probably was a bit in that code. You're probably right, mate. Butler's pulling away from Burridge. Not a lot Burridge can do, but Cole and this train, I think Jamski's maybe looking to get a bit of bump draft on the go to try and catch up to Burridge in P2. Well, in fact, no, Lloyd's going to go for the move down the inside. We saw it didn't work for Brice Lemmy earlier. Got to leave plenty of room here. And they do, and Cole's going to get the better exit. It's not the inside line you want into T1, it's the outside line. You want to force the inside line to the driver you're trying to overtake. Gets a much poorer exit, but to be fair, they are still incredibly close driving here for P3 right now. That's where the Cole can sustain 7 minutes of this, but they've got to be smart. They were catching up to Burridge a minute ago. They've already dropped half a second behind. So they've got to be clever here. Because if these three drivers work together, there could be something more into it for all of them, really. And we see in the second half of the Goodwood circuit here, Burridge is looking, well, these three are looking a lot quicker than Burridge. And Burridge is round wide, which is going to really help them catch them up and close up the pack. And there we go, it's now under a second. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the PNR Ultimate Sim Racer Series hosted on the World Sim Series website. You're joining me on Pretty Ninja YouTube channel. I hear NASCAR but C Mini. Interesting, you shouldn't have been able to hear NASCAR. You shouldn't have been able to hear it. But hello, ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday. Welcome to Pretty Ninja Racing here on YouTube. My name is Andi and I'll be your host for this evening's event. It's 69 laps of Daytona Tri-Oval in some NASCARs tonight. We have 17 registered drivers. Only 16 have joined, well, actually 14 have joined so far. So we will await and see how many we actually have, but still a 14 car grid around Daytona when they're all split between literally maybe a second, if that. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be carnage. I think we're going to see maybe 2 or 3 groups, plus we're going to see a lot of incidences, and teleport to pits are allowed for this race just to get out of the way, get restarted and back out, and it is a rolling start procedure, so there could be a few time penalties straight off the bat. But 69 laps should take around about 45 minutes. So we'll wait to see what happens. In the meantime, let's take a look at the standings. And here we are. So Butler leads the way with 116 points. And to be fair, oh yeah, there he is. He is in the server now. He wasn't a minute ago, but he is now. Skyring is in P2 with 66 points. Butler, maybe not quite seal the deal, but can do certainly something close to it. Burridge is in P3 with 62. Spool is in P4 with 61. And Pindalia is P5 with 60. So the top, well, 2 to 5 split by literally 6 points, which is absolutely nothing in this series. Brice Lemmy sadly cannot drive tonight, even though I know he would absolutely love it. P7 is tied with 48 points between Ollie Smith and Lloyd. Who else have we got? 66 is P9, can't drive tonight due to work, and Mark Olsen rounds off the top 10 with 30 points. Now let's just quickly head trackside. And here we are, as we're watching Burridge, who's currently battling for that P2 position. But by the looks of it, one driver that seems to have found some pace this evening is Pindalia, who was leading the board in the pre-sessions, in the pre-practice sessions. But to be fair, this could be how it pretty much all goes. The camera angle is going to be changing quite a lot, I would say, tonight. And this is the onboard cockpit cam. So it'll be intriguing to see. Now, for some reason it says that everyone's in the Toyota Camry, but they're not. They are in the Ford Falcon. Weirdly, I'm not quite sure why it says they're in the Toyota. but we shall wait and see as someone goes high. We have a lot of number 2 cars tonight. And there's a bit of bump drafting going on here. They've got to be careful of that. It's allowed. It's pretty much NASCAR rules, so bump drafting is allowed. Obviously contact is allowed within, you know, a degree. If it's an accidental turnout, then, you know, there could well be a penalty at the end of the race, but this is pretty much NASCAR rules. One thing I do need to do in a moment, though, is tell them that it's a rolling start, because I'm not 100% sure if they have noticed. We're all coming towards the end of free practice. So Francis now's topped the board in the camo project 420. Is it 420? It is 420, I believe. Can't quite tell. The white kind of blurs into the yellow. Could be 620, it could be 420. I'm not entirely sure. Camouflage livery. And there is a lot of... Let's just see if there's any other decent camera angles, because it just seems to be flicking quite a lot between the two. There's not really any, like, you know, nice, just following them around. This might be better. That's a bit better. Otherwise it's just going to be constant, like yin, yin, yin. Here we go. Lovely stuff. That's not too bad. Yeah, that was quite nice as well. That one is also quite nice. So as free practice is coming to an end, let's do a quick track recce of the Daytona Tri-Oval. It's going to be the most exhilarating track recce you have ever seen. And around the final corner we go, DRS activated as we head. It would be if I had the right track recce video. Bear with. And around the final corner we go, DRS activated as we head over the start-finish line to start our flying lap here at Dragon Trail Gardens. So you join me as we pull out pit road here at Daytona for a bit of oval racing tonight. It's going to be quite carnage, quite a lot of carnage I think. A lot of our sim races, weirdly, haven't done much oval racing. So I am really intrigued to see how they get on, but this track recce is obviously pretty simple really. It's just Daytona. You're pretty much full throttle the whole race. When you're in the slip, that's going to be the main part, but we'll just head over the timing line as we are flat out, as you can hear. This feels actually relatively slow, not gonna lie, compared to what I'm used to. Probably got the wrong car set up. Start off high, go low. Not touching the yellow, but you want to get close to it. And the closer you're to the wall on exit, the more speed you've carried out. So as you can see, we're quite close to the wall. Drifting in the inside, you'll see a lot of the drivers moving to the infield section here, or not infield, but moving towards the inside line. Back out to head lowish again. Middle of the road is actually quite nice. It's somewhere around here. It's quite a nice line to take, but you do leave the option of slipping, or someone slipping up the inside there and causing you a bit of grief going forwards. But even though the car sounds like it's not enjoying itself too much, I'm sure our racers have got some much better setups than this default one. And quite frankly, I think we're going to be in for a hell of a spectacle. It's going to be a long race. They're going to have to be patient. And the reality is, you don't want to be in first place unless you've got a massive, massive gap to the car behind. But even then, you don't really want to be in front because you just don't know what's going to happen with cars in front of you where they're going to spin out or anything like that. So there we go. This is Daytona try oval, and yeah, back to Anders for qualifying for the 5th round of the Ultimate Sim Racer. Back to you, my dude. Back to you. So here we go. The cars are just heading out for qualifying, and I'm quickly just sending a message to all. Race is rolling start. Keep an eye out for pop-up instructions on God, this real penalty here, but it's really not doing very well at the minute for me. Never has done. I'm not sure if there's any way that I can just send a server message. Is there anything I can just, if I can just send a server message? Race is rolling start. We've got 2 minutes left, so don't worry. Keep an eye out for instructions on your screens. Right, let's just minimize that a minute. Let's move chat just down here out of the way. Let's see who is doing what then. So trackside. So it looks like Butler and Skyring are leading the way in a minute, only split by 1/100th of a second. Burridge P3, Francis P4, but again, everyone up to P8 is in the 40-second mark. P9 now in the 40-second mark. Now you've got to think the slip is going to be quite real in tonight's race. And Lemmy in chat says that that's a penalty for crossing the pit exit as it's in the back straight. So I did that track recce wrong. Never mind. Oh, and into the wall Butler goes. After setting a slightly quicker time, but manages to save it and get straight back out for another lap. But that is what can happen. Now Francis looked pretty speedy in qualifying. In free practice, sorry. And we have 16 drivers. Now Cross and West need to get a lap time in, because Control, if that starts before them and I teleport to pits, they're going to be a little bit out of luck here. So Cross and West do need to get a lap time in. Otherwise it's going to be even more difficult for them, because they probably will get a penalty. Possibly. Possibly. If it was AMS2, they definitely would. Pindley is struggling to get near the front pack, but saying that, he's only half a second behind. But on an oval, half a second, it's actually quite a long time. But he's not necessarily getting as much slip as Butler or Skyring was getting with Bud Draft. Bartek is just heading into the pits. Currently sitting P5. 35 seconds left of qualifying to go. So this will be Pindley's last lap. And we're going to start seeing the final order as Francis moves into P1 with a 40-second dead after getting a huge bump draft from the car ahead of them. And this this is what we're kind of expecting the racing to be like, really. It's going to be really, really tricky for a lot of these sim racers. Because unless you do iRacing quite consistently, so ButterTech and McFly have finished. Their fates are sealed. Rodnoff has also got a sealed fate. Sobek is sealed. West is starting at the back of the grid. Cross is on the circuit. And Finkans comes over the line. 39 seconds thanks to the bump draft for the both of them. So they've definitely worked together there to get up the way. Butler has sealed the deal. Skyring has sealed the deal. Burridge is still out on circuit. I don't know if he's going to get any quicker, really. And over time lane go, and that is it. So let me just make sure I put something in chat. There we go. Now it's down to them to do it correctly. But there we go. So Francis leads the way for the Ultimate Sim Racer Round 5 here on Pretty Ninja Racing YouTube channel. Finkans in second, Butler P3, Skyring P4, Burridge P5, Bartek P6, McFly P7, Coulson P8, Pindalia P9, Rodnoff P10, Spool P11, and, well, put it that way, it's basically a second between first and 11th with the slip for the race. I think it could be quite an interesting one. Now, we'll keep an eye and make sure that Francis gets it done properly. He just needs to keep an eye out for instructions. They just need to keep the correct locations, grid positions rather, and they should be all absolutely fine. So Francis leads the grid to start this race. Yeah. Good point. It's a safety car, Burridge. No. So someone's already said that already. So we'll just keep an eye out. So off we go to lead the way. Francis gets the pack all moving up slowly. Nice and packed. So they got one lap of rolling safety. And then it will just be go, go, go. And the carnage will begin. So one lap will be done. And the race will start with 68 laps to go. And they just need to make sure they hold their positions. Keep it nice and calm. Be ready to get on that gas, get on that throttle. And you can see the front pack are really nice and bunched. Everyone else is nicely split away. You can see Butler, Burridge, Skyring all grouping up a bit here. They just need to be careful not to get any penalties when they cross the line for being in the wrong positions. But I hope you're sitting comfortably. This is going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen, as we keep an eye on the lead car. Let's just quickly see if there's any wider camera angles. I think this one's probably the widest. Oh no, this is the widest, sorry. Let's stick with this one. We want to be able to see as many vehicles as we can as they come around the final corner. There's the black flag indicating that a safety car would be coming in if there is one. And when it goes green, we're off racing here at Daytona. And ironically, Daytona 500 is very soon as well, isn't it? So, what a nice little connection going on there. So here we go. Everyone's just shuffling into position. There's a big gap in the middle there. Needs to be caught up a little bit more. As everyone's just getting ready. Here we go. I'm excited for this. I'm ready. 80. There's the speed limit. Everyone needs to bunch up a little bit more. There's the red. And there's green, and there's go. And Bartek has got a drive-through for a jump start, just moving a little bit too early. Francis has had a bit of a wobbly start. And Finkans has made way. Skyring has got into P2. And we'll just see how this all unfolds. We can see a little bit further on. Someone's gone. Oh my god, someone's massively died there. Rodnov and Sobek have pretty much died on T1. Their cars seem to have come unscathed. So Pindalia is now chasing Bartek, who currently has a drive-through for a jump start. So Pindalia needs to get shot by and get onto that trail pack of cars up ahead. And Butler has got the inside line going into T1, but he's trying to look around the outside of Jay Skyring in the early stages here. Is not quite going to be able to do it. Butler does have the slip as well, which means I think Francis might lose out a little bit here. But Butler is also looking to get past the slip, and so is Jay Skyring, also going two abreast into the last corner. And Bartek has taken their drive-through. Very good of them. Jay Skyring just shuffling back down the field. It's an early stage of the race. And it looks like, as I mentioned, we've got a couple of groups of cars here. Now Burridge and McFly need to work together here to get back up with the front cars. Otherwise they are in danger of losing them. As Finkans is back in front, Skyring and Butler are just swapping places. And this is what they need to be doing. This is it. This is perfect from McFly. Breaking the toe to Pindalia down in P7. And Pindalia is sadly a bit of a sitting duck here. He needs to get a little bit lucky. But he's out of the toe as it currently stands. And you can just see the lap time difference. And now we've got a front group of 6 cars here. McFly again is trying to push Burridge towards that front pack. Try and get them closer. But sadly all it's doing is leaving Pindalia alone in P7, and we got a few more cars just now kind of scattered at the back. So we'll go on board with Burridge. Oh no, we're on board with McFly, even though it says Burridge here for some reason, not quite sure why. Burridge is the car in front. There we go, McFly. And now they have caught up to the rear pack. McFly was looking to just sneak down the inside there, but now they're all in the tow. So we now have a 6-car front pack. And they may have to pit, so they've all got to be a little bit tactical here. I'm not sure how many laps they'll be able to do on a full tank. They may need to pit, but so far, apart from the incident on lap 1, we've got quite a few drivers getting away unscathed. As looked like to me then Burridge was very high up the wall, and Francis has fallen down a bit, but again, it's early stages here in this race. Cross is in the pits. Maybe with a bit of wall damage. Burridge slowly moving up the banking again there. And you can just see how much respect they're trying to give each other while staying in the race. And it's going to be the last 5 laps really that's going to cause the carnage. As we can see, Pindalia sadly is now dropping to 2 seconds behind. Looks very pacey, but just not got enough solo speed to catch up to the cars in front. Although the more they battle, the more likely Pinderley will be able to catch up. And he's got the speed in the corners. He's caught up there a little bit. He's just in the... don't seem to, he's actually lapping pretty well there, in all fairness. A 40.7. So he might be able to get himself onto the back pack in the near future. Oh, and there's a big crash at the front of the front pack. Francis involving. Skyring being involved there. Pinderley has now gone through. Butler is well ahead in the lead. Finkans is also part of the carnage. Spool as well is managed to get through up to P4. And Jay Skyring might have had quite a lot of issues. Oh, and someone else has just gone completely off the radar there. Not sure what that was about. There's Raven. Francis is rejoining nice and safely. Coulson is gone through back up to P13. I'm not quite sure who that was, to be honest, that we just saw go flying off. So now instead of a front 6, we've got a front 2 with Pinderley slowly catching round. And to be fair, the cars on the infield doing an absolutely stellar job there. So it's Butler and Burridge fighting for the top seat. Now anything can really happen in this race, so there's no foregone conclusions here. Raven and Skyring are into the pit road. And Skyring's in, and Raven is also in. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Lap 10, we will have to reassess and look and see what happened. But sadly, Skyring and Raven look to be the ones that have suffered the most damage, as Burridge and Butler have a grand opportunity here to really expand this lead against Pinderley. And Raven's back out onto the track. Jay Skyring looks to have been the one that's come off the worst here. And yeah, we will just have to wait and see how this all pans out. Plenty of laps to go. But it did look like carnage definitely happened there. The one time I look away at the main pack, the front pack. See in the background here, is that Pinderley just behind? That's getting a nice little push along here by Francis, by looks of things. So Francis is the one in the camouflage. He's currently sitting P9 and is pushing Pinderley along. That's very, very nice of him. But if he wants to get back in this race, that's kind of what he's got to do, really. He's got to help get Pinderley back up to the front 2. And to be fair, straight line speed-wise... Oh, and Rodnov has got a drive-through for speeding in the pit road. And looks like Pinderley is giving a nice little bit of wide berth here. Now let's see what this slip can do for Pinderley. No, he should have just slipped in behind there. Work together. Work together, just get the bump draft going. Francis up to P8. Now some of the cars might need to pit for fuel, as mentioned earlier. Jay Skyring's ironically just set his personal best off the race so far, so just don't know where this is going to go, really. We can see that the front two are working together to try and expand that lead as Burridge just hits the wall there, and that can be fatal. Any form of kind of aero damage or any rough suspension, the toner's walls are designed to cave the car inwards. And Cross is sadly disconnected from the service. So that's our first DNF off the race on lap 16. And Western Rosnov pulls into pit road to take their drive-through penalty. Very sporting of Rodnov. McFly is sitting P6. There is a rather airy gap though between them and P5, 13 seconds. And you can see Burridge and Butler pretty much doing the exact same lap times there. And Pindalia and Francis aren't quite doing the same. So we can take a look back at Francis. I think Francis needs to, if he's got the slip and he's got the pace, just needs to push him along a little bit more. You just don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. All it takes is one pit stop and they're back in it, and Jay Skyring moves up to P13. Needs to push them along, but there's a quite a few airy gaps here. Pindalia just setting a personal best of the race so far, so clearly I think Francis is starting to help Pindalia along a little bit here. Kind of needs to, but this will be, and Jay Skyring just set the fastest lap of the race. In fact, now he's got a bit more clean air. He's got no one in front of him from what I understand. Let's take a quick look. Oh, he does have someone in front of him. It's not for position, but this is certainly going to be helping Skyring get a wriggle on. And Butler, Burridge, currently really working together here to try and expand that lead. And they're doing a very good job of it as well. But, you know, the slip, the bump draft is a very dangerous game, and that's something that could have just happened. It could have been bump draft, and if that's the case, that's just NASCAR for you. And it may well be just turning left as Bartek just has a personal best of the race, of their race so far. And it's just pulled into the pits, ironically. I wonder why that is. And out pit road Bartek comes. And there goes Francis going by. And Francis gets past Bartek up to P7. So Francis is actually gaining on McFly ahead. Slowly but surely. Quite a tactical race now, folks. It's not going to be quite so, you know, cars side by side all the way to the end. But I think there's going to be cars in different positions working with each other to help each other out here now. Even if they don't know each other, just help each other along. Francis has got a nice little gap here. I'm not quite sure who that car is in front. It's not McFly. Sure who that is. And down the inside they go. Could well be a back marker, maybe Raven. It is Raven. So fair play for the drivers that have been lapped to keep going. They are doing incredibly well here. So I can see at the minute that Raven's done 19 laps, the race leader's on lap 22. Car up to P9 West has done 20, and then car up to P6 has done 21. Don't know what Huey is doing. He should be working with Francis. I think so, but again, the P&R boys haven't really done oval racing like you and myself, let me. You know? They don't necessarily understand that actually one of the better places to be is, you know, bump drafting another car. It extends your fuel load, less wear on the tyres, and you're quicker. So Skyring has just set the fastest lap of the race, and I think Skyring's doing exactly what Huey should be doing. Maybe. I'm not sure who that is behind. That might be Coulson. No, it's not Coulson. See who it is, shall we? Sobek, is it? Not Sobek. Let's try McFly. Not McFly. It's in fact P5. So Finken's P5 is actually helping Jay Skyring get a lot closer to P12 of Raven. But at the minute, in the forms of the championship, Butler, this is a very good result for Butler right now. This could be another 30 points on the board. And you can see just the way that these two are working together to extend that lead, because Pindelia is now 3.7 seconds behind by simply not working with Francis and just overtaking at every opportunity, when really should be getting behind, using that extra speed and pushing Francis along. See the lap times difference there. Francis is closing the gap to McFly in P6, but not as quick as they were. I think if Francis starts helping Huey along a bit, just like that, that's it. That's how you do it. Then you get a little bit more help. You get a little bit more speed, and that gap ahead will close down in no time. But the front two drivers are currently driving this beautifully in Burridge and Butler. Now what would be interesting to see if they do need to pit, which they might very well do, I don't know. You can see Burridge just pushing Butler along there. How they'll do it. Will Butler try and keep going and let Burridge go in solo and see, you know, roll the dice a little bit, try and get that extra fast lap in before coming in? Or will they both come in at the same time? Or will Burridge try and think, you know what, I'm going to try and get the overlap on? You just don't know where you come out in on track, really. So it is going to be quite a tricky one. Now Finkans, working with Jay Skyring, is closing the gap to Spall in P4. In fact, that was half a second faster that lap, because they're working together. I'm not quite sure who's on the outside edge there, but someone's hoping to get into the slip, and I think they've got it done. So we're now going to see a bit of a pack form now. You can just see 1.2 seconds now for Finkans towards Spall in P4. Lemon says, not gonna lie, not knowing ovals, Huey might be on 4 cold brown with Francis up his bum. He might very well be, in fact, yeah. He might very well be. Might very well be indeed, but look at that gap closing down. This is what it looks like when you work together. This is the difference. Jay Skyring and Jay Skyring is actually now a full lap down to the car ahead. That can't be right. He is. He is a full lap down from Rodnov in P11. So I don't think he's been overtaken by Rodnov. I just think track position wise, oh, someone's gone on the apron. Oh, that can be sketchy. And Spall has gone down a position there and is now down into P5. Finkans moves up to P4. 12 seconds is the gap to Pindelia in P3, but quite frankly, at the rate that they've been going, that's definitely doable. Oh, and there's a car going slow on the outside. Oh, and there's a big... Is that Rodnov? Rodnov has had to go into the pits after hitting the barrier and is now a lap down. And no penalty there, let me. No penalty on this Daytona track. So, Jay Skyring, after this lap, well, whereabouts is Rodnov actually? On circuit. Rodnov is coming around the last corner now. And Jay Skyring is now entering the last corner now. So they're on the same lap. And the gap is down to 5 seconds. So Jay Skyring can move up to P11. Sobek has got a stop and go penalty. 60 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. So that's pretty much Sobek's race done and dusted. He's P14 anyway. And it's now got a speeding penalty for the pit lane. And that's something else that could happen. Now we just don't know. Spall in P5 is now right on the rear end of Fincans. And I think this is going to be one of our little groups coming up now. Because where is Pindalier on circuit? Pindalier on circuit is heading into T1 now. So they are all on the same lap at this moment in time. Lap 32. Francis is still closing the gap to a fly in P6. Just whether Fincans can actually catch up to Pindalier in P3. There is, well, we've not quite reached the halfway point. We're not far away now. So we're on to lap 34. Here are our race leaders. Just about to pass the halfway point as we got sparks flying from a car just being a little bit too low on the setup. Not sure who that is just ahead of them, but again, there's another pair working together. Rodnov is on their own, a bit of a sitting duck. Coulson and someone else is working together. Not, no. Who is Coulson working with right now? Must be McFly. McFly it is. So McFly is using Mark Coulson here to help them along. And it's very clever use of a back marker here for McFly. But is it going to be enough? Jay Skyring gets past Rodnov. Rodnov looks like they've had another mistake coming out of T1. They just need to be safe on the rejoin. Oh, I wouldn't rejoin there, but fair enough. They got the job done. So that's Jay Skyring back up to P11. Sobek stop and go 60 penalty is being taken. So well done, Sobek. Now there is a lot of work to do for Jay Skyring to catch up to Mark Coulson because they are a lap down, as you can see on the timing board. Sobek is 3 laps down, and it just goes to show how much a penalty can change the race. A Spall, if we just go on board, I believe that's Bartek in P8 ahead of this group of 3 here. Butler and Burridge again are still working together beautifully, I might add. I think someone there is getting out of the way. I believe that's Bartek. Let's have a little look. It is Bartek. Not really getting out of the way, they're just driving their line. That's all they can do, but that group of 3 is now a group of 4, and Spall needs to be careful. He needs to stay in that slip because he's in massive danger right now of being let off. It's happening. It's happening. Spoiler's been dropped off by the pack after not following Fincan's through, and now Spoiler's got a lot of work to do to get back up to the cars in front. Number one rule of NASCAR is that you do not get out of the slip unless you really, really, really need to. And this happens. West has got a drive-through penalty, and West is currently sat P9, and that'll be speeding into the pit lane, going too quickly. So that could be another lap on the board for Jay Skyring, or another, yeah, it will be another lap at least. And West has missed his pit box as well. Oh, and there's been a carnage. There's P1. Burridge was backwards. Oh, and rejoined really dangerously, and that's Jay Skyring gone, I think. Again, who was that? It's not Jay Skyring, that was someone else. That's completely ruined Rodnov. That was a really unsafe rejoin there by Burridge, coming straight onto the banking. That is a really dangerous rejoin by Burridge there, and I think it's wiped out Pindalia as well. Yeah, it has. Pindalia gets back into the pits. Oh, the P3 was on. Francis, where are you? I think Francis might have just got away unscathed again after being part of the turmoil in lap 1, and McFly is the other one that's sadly being caught up in it. One thing this does mean though for these drivers is that they've got a brand new car full of fuel and they can race to the end. Anyone ahead of them will still need to pit and risk the run of getting penalties. Stop and go for Burridge. I would agree. Definite stop and go for Burridge. Just got to move this out of the way. Bear with. Definite stop and go for Burridge. I would completely agree with you there, let me. Burridge, 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 Burridge. There it is. Stop and go. 30 seconds. Reason. Other unsafe rejoin. 30 seconds. Stop and go. Unsafe rejoin. Do not rejoin on corner banking. There we go. 30 seconds. Stop and go penalty for Burridge. That'll pop up on the screen any minute. And Burridge stop and go penalty from race direction. It's, yeah. TP is dead. Did you teleport back to pits, TP? You should be good to go. And Vincans has teleported back to pits, so unless that's damage, if you've teleported back, it should be automatically repaired, and off you go again. You shouldn't be waiting. Should be able to just go. If you teleported back, it just fixes your car and you can go. Oh, you're stuck here for 5 minutes. Oh my days. I don't think there's anything I can do about that either, Birds. I'm really sorry. Controls are locked. That's stupid. Why are your controls locked? No one else's has been when they've engine dead. Can't leave. Oh, dude. Well, he has got a stop and go. And he's got another stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It was Burridge. Burridge rejoined unsafely, and he's got a 30-second stop and go penalty, and he's now got another 10-second stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That was a very, very silly rejoin, Burridge. Very, very silly rejoin. And all it's done is this It's not everyone, it's TP that you need to, it's Pindalia that you need to apologise to. Because that's his race done, pretty much. 5 minutes he's stuck in the pit lane. But what this has done is that Butler has got an easy drive to the finish line now. He's just got to look after his car. But what this has done, this race, has definitely spiced up the rest of the grid. And to be fair, there could be more to come. Who knows? Who knows? But Finkans has managed to catch up to Bartek. Where is Jay Skyring, who is now up to P8 after the carnage that unfolded. Sobek is 10 laps behind. Pindalia will be able to get a move on yet again. But yeah, that was rather large carnage. Just back in the pits for a 10-second stop and go. And Rodnov has got a 60-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which will give Huey a chance to catch back up. Again, you don't know what's going to happen really. And Burridge has taken the 10-second stop and go. So out they come. Skyring is apparently 1 minute behind Burridge, but we'll be catching up at the rate of noughts right now. They're on the same lap. Although Burridge is now pretty much up to speed. Skyring comes around T1, 22 seconds behind. Burridge sounds about right. And P5 of Finkans is very close to the camo livery of Bartek ahead. And ahead of them is Jay Skyring, and he won't really want to get in their way of their race, but by the looks of it, Finkans has taken full advantage of the opportunity of the slip and gets past Bartek with ease. That's Jay Skyring there. Currently sat... Oh no, it's not Jay Skyring. Rodnov has got a drive-through for speeding, and then a drive-through. You would have thought they would have learned by now how to get into the pit lane. It's not me that's giving these penalties out, it's purely... Rodnov is now got a stop and go for speeding. So many penalties going on. I think, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting very close to the maximum incident points available, sadly. In all fairness, only got 6 incident points. Just lots and lots of penalties. In fact, they've got a stop and go 60, a drive-through penalty, and then a stop and go 10, which will have to happen over the next few laps, and there could be another one coming at this rate. They need to stop again this lap. Pindalia will at least go up to P12 for definite. And there we go. That's much better. Drive through for what? Really? That looks really good. He's got another drive through. I think he's stuck in a penalty loop, you know. I think sadly Rodnov is at the end of a penalty looping issue, because it's not... Yeah, there's a disqualification gone on there for not taking a stop and go in time. So Rodnov will do one more lap and then that'll be it. I think sadly for Rodnov, a lot of penalties just started mounting up and disqualification has occurred, which is a real shame, really. to be fair, that was a really nice rejoin. Now in the background there, we can see there is something going on. I believe it's with Bartek and Vinkans. And I'm not sure who the driver in the middle is. That could be Burridge. No, it's not Burridge. Burridge is actually behind someone else. So I don't know who that is. I'm actually going to try names on. Oh, and there's a car spun out. That's Rodnov. Just as it was popping up, he disappeared. I actually can't see who that is. Spool. There we go. So Spool is currently sitting P2. Getting a very good result so far. And this is what happens when you keep your nose clean in NASCAR. But Bartek, I think, is actually playing a pretty clever game here. I could be looking into it a little bit too much, but I think Bartek is playing a pretty clever little game here. Just sitting behind. Well, not a disconnect from the server. That's a shame. I've got a funny feeling there might have been a real penalty loop going on there. It looks slow enough to me, but yeah, mustn't have been really, unless the line for real penalties a little bit earlier than it seems, or the pit road could be a lot slower than it seems. All it takes is literally to go over half a mile an hour, or even a mile an hour over, and a penalty is coming your way. But this is the battle for P4. Good haulage of points for the Ultimate Sim Series. Our race leader Butler has 13 laps to go, and you can hear Bartek letting off the gas down the straight. So clearly Bartek is getting ready to make an attack in the last 4 or 5 laps. Pindelia, sadly, is quite far towards the back now. The drive through is because he went between 80 and 85 kilometers an hour, let me says in chat. So he wasn't quite under the pit speed limit. Bartek again, just letting off, just reserving that fuel. Butler is leading the way here. Oh, and I think that's Burridge behind, and almost a similar sort of incident again. Just beeping horns. Now the problem is I haven't written down any lap times or laps of when incidents happened. But Butler is just cruising now. And Butler's actually coming into the pit, so this is all important. Can he get it slowed down in time? It's looking quick. It's too fast. He's got to drive through. And that is going to cost them. Oh, this is going to be interesting. We could have a completely fresh race winner in the way of Spool. Butler did not get the car slowed down enough. Has now got a drive-through penalty next lap. Now, as whether Spool has got enough to last to the end of the race, because Butler is in the pits and Spool takes the race lead for the time being. So on lap 59, 10 to go, and Mark Spool is 10 laps away from their first ever PNR victory. Because the victory is been thrown away by Butler for not being able to slow down into pit road quick enough. And he's also got another drive-through, which is going to put him... Oh, and Spool is coming into the pits. Can he get it stopped? He can indeed. This is really good stuff by Spool. Butler has to do a drive-through, so this has got to be a really good splash and dash. Where is Butler? Butler is coming round the final corner now, slowing down to serve that drive-through. Is it going to be enough? And Butler has gone slow enough. Is Spool pit going to be quick enough? Where's Butler? Butler's coming by. Come on, Spool. Francis has taken the race lead. Oh, and Spool's got moving, and he's going to be right behind Butler. So the battle for P2 is on. Now, Francis, I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel or not. Drive-through being taken for Butler, and Vinkans and Bartek move up to P2 and 3. Now, Francis, after the carnage of lap 1, is there enough fuel in that car? With 9 laps to go, I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember seeing him going into pit road. They may have got lucky. They may have got lucky. Vinkans, it might be in the same boat, and Bartek may also be in the same boat where they need to do a lot of fuel saving. Whereas Butler and Spool, Spool is already off the pace by, well, apparently 1.8 seconds, but I don't believe that. Where's Butler? Butler's actually down the way. Okay, interesting. So Spool is stuck behind the back marker. 2 seconds behind Butler. So the race victory wasn't quite on, purely due to fuel. So our race leader Francis, 7 laps away, and it's definitely slowing up because you can see the time dropping, and they are trying to fuel save quite drastically here, whereas I don't think Vinkans and Bartek need to. And there they are, just coming off the banking and T1. This could be interesting. This could be a very interesting end of the race. We're dropping a second a lap here, easily at a minute. Now I swear to Francis is playing this absolutely to a T right now, as McFly is literally right behind Spool as well. We'll take a quick look. So McFly is currently battling Spool for P5. So it's just enough laps to cause a Pentry and Burridge is in the pits, possibly needing fuel. Yeah, indeed they are. So that could be enough for Jay Skyring to maybe get by to P7. There we go. So it's happened and Mark Olsen. And we have 5 laps remaining. 5 seconds is the gap. Spool and McFly currently battling it out. You don't really want to be the one in front, preferably. And we can see those 2 white cars in the background. Those 2 just coming under our screen are 2nd and 3rd. So Francis could be playing a very good tactical game here. In fact, are they just going to go straight through? Is that... No, that isn't P2 and 3. It looked like P2 and 3, but maybe not. So they're battling for something else. That could be Spool and McFly, and I think it is, because McFly has dropped off the pace a little bit. Skyring, or that could actually be Skyring and Mark Olsen for P7. There is Skyring, only 7 tenths behind Mark Olsen for P7. Now Francis has picked up the pace again. Now he's got a bit of aero of Jay Skyring. 3 laps remaining. There's battles all over the circuit. But weirdly, they're also all grouped together. Now, where is P2? P2 is right there. Finkans is really pushing it now. Bartek needs to start using a bit of that fuel-saved fuel to start getting onto the rear end of Finkans, because if he wants an opportunity of winning this race, he needs to get back there. And I'm wondering if the setup's just not quite strong enough to get the job done. But 1.9 seconds, I think Francis has absolutely played this perfectly with the slip. Absolute tactical precision, that is. And Jay Skyreach just let him through, because he knows that if he can get onto the rear end of Francis, he has an opportunity of getting P7. Although I think he's having to fuel save by the looks of it. He's dropped right off the pace. And the gap to P1 is now expanding. I think Francis has played an absolute blinder here. It would be a shame if the Project 420 car ran out of fuel. But it would be quite the Murray Walker moment, wouldn't it? Really. But you can see the gap to P2 has just dropped right off here. Francis has played an absolute tactical blinder. Brilliant driving here by Francis. So in reality, we are 1 full lap away. White flag should be waving for the final lap of round 5 of the Ultimate Sim Racer here at Daytona Tri-Oval. Sorry. And Francis is going to take the race victory as long as nothing bad happens. .69 laps of pure NASCAR mannerisms as McFly just makes it past Spool on the final lap. And Butler, which is an absolute killer move, moves up to P4. Butler's back to P4. We need to look at that. And we're going 3 abreast over the line. And it should be Butler's because he's got the inside line. Oh my daisy. Exactly the same time for Butler and McFly. Spool takes P6. Skyring takes P8. Burridge takes P9. Pindalier takes P12. The identical lap time photo finish for P4 has been given to Butler. Coulson will take P7. West will take P10. Congratulations to Francis for an absolute tactical masterclass, really. Finkans in P2. Bartek P3, Butler P4, McFly P5, Spool P6, Coulson P7, Skyring P8, Burridge P9, West P10. In the nicest way, that was exactly what I was hoping for tonight. That was a very, very good race and an absolute tactical geniusy of Francis there to take the race victory away from Finkans. Kind of dangled the carrot and essentially lured them in. And we'll wait to see what happens to the leaderboard very soon. Let's just X out of this. We need to have a quick look at a couple of instances. Mole says, my arms are dead. TP clearly not happy, and I totally understand why. Definitely understand why. But we need to look at the race 1 incident. Well, you don't need Sherlock Holmes to solve a murder. It's oh, I only saved 41 minutes. God damn it. I've only got it to set to save 40 odd. So the incident sadly has already happened. No, I don't have it sadly. Yeah, you've got to stay on the apron, Burridge, next time. Reality, I probably should have given you a 60-second stop and go for that one. In reality, it was only after I gave it that I found out that Pindalia's car was stuck in pit lane for absolute donkeys. But there was an incident with Jay Skyring again afterwards. Where is Jay Skyring? At least I think so anyway. There's a car off there. I feel like Jay was in at least 2 crashes tonight. But sadly, I don't have the main one that I didn't manage to catch. There's Jay in the pit road after the incident. And sadly, I've just missed it. Just missed it by the looks of it. That is a bit of a pain, that. That is a shame. That is a shame. Oh, dear. Right, let's take a look at the leaderboard. Butler has definitely extended their lead here. If all is up to date. So let's have a little look. It is. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So Butler leads the way with 136 points with 3 races left to go. So a whole 90 points is on offer for round 6, 7 and 8. So he's not fully won, but it's almost in the bag, really. If he gets a race victory in the next round, I see it being very difficult for Jay Skyring to catch up, who currently sits P2 with 79 after, quite frankly, quite the moment in NASCAR. Jay's reputation not reputation, that's the wrong word. Jay's luck in ovals has never been quite so great, but after the initial carnage, it did seem to be quite a good race overall for them, sadly. Or, well, hopefully he feels that way. Spall sits P3 with 77 points. Burridge sits P4 with 74. Pindalia P5 with 69. Coulson P6. Lettermy P7 with 49. Ollie Smith P8 with 48. Lloyd in P9 with 48 and 66 rounds off the top 10. Francis moves straight to P12 with that race victory. So, yeah, very, very good. Next week, well, this Sunday, the P&R series of the Formula 3 Championship continues at Barcelona. Okay, get yourself signed up, ready for that one, get a bit of practice in. And next week we are in the Formula RSS2 at Portimao Algarve next Monday night. So we're going from oval to twisty, turny, high downforce Formula vehicles. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. 16 laps of Portimao in the RSS F2 car. Oh, that was good. I enjoyed that tonight. There were a few moments that were clearly not great. There was always the carnage, but that's going to happen in NASCAR. It's part of the thing. It is what it is. We move on. This Saturday as well, there is the Timeless Velocity Multi-Class Series Suzuka International Circuit. We've not had too many people sign up to this, sadly, even though it says 51 participants overall. We've sadly not really had any sign-ups, which is a shame. And yeah, it's a shame because it's a very good series. Very, very good series. But until then, when's that one? 2nd of March. Okay, no. The PNR teams, we've got 2 teams in fact, doing the Ring Freaks of Nürburgring, and we'll be streaming that live here on Pretty Ninja YouTube, which is going to be nice, just from the PNR perspective. But yes, next will be this Sunday for the RSS Formula 3 at Portimao. One thing I will also mention, if I may, if I can close this one down, close that one down, minimize that one down, minimize that one down, minimize that one down, as we look at the beautiful PNR livery Porsche at Cagliari. Where am I going? Discord. So to celebrate 200 plus subscribers here on Pretty Ninja Racing YouTube, we are hosting a 3-hour endurance race on AMS2. We currently have 11 signups. The more we have, the better, because it means that we don't need to include AI. As good as they are at the moment, it would be better if we just had a load of human drivers. There is one forced AI stint swap, which rather than one full stint could be just half an hour, rather than like a full stint, because quite frankly that could be a whole hour of driving gone. But AI driver swap is mandatory. It's at AMS2. The setup details was all done by the Spinny Wheel of Death, and it decided to start us at 3 AM with 2 times progression, real weather, real fuel, real tyre, damage TBC depending on if there are AI on track. If there aren't AI, we will have damage. If there is AI, we will not. Server starts at 7:30, sorry, on March the 8th, which is a Friday evening. So if you want to get involved in that, all you have to do is join our Discord, accept some terms and conditions, click this tick, and you've pretty much reserved your spot for that one. Now I can see that the boys in chat.
Really?
Yeah.
Watch the stream. Let's watch the stream.
Who's that, boss man?
Yeah,
Hello,
I'm watching the
boss man.
stream.
Hello.
We're doing some Stewards reviews.
Let's have a little look.
We're about to get to the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Old McFly is like proper checking out Collie's ass here.
Yeah.
Give
But
it a little.
he does it really well, though.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really
I
good bump
got- I
drafting. Really good bump
I
drafting.
got one
Collie's
incident
doesn't do it
point
quite so
from.
well.
Because you see, before the trial, he gives you a tap here and a tap here, and then around the back, he gives you a push. You can feel you can hear the engine revs go up. See, your time is maybe different to my time because of my disconnect. Yeah, Andy, I was on the. I had a disconnect about coming through the
did
last
you?
corner. Yeah, so that's why I
damn it.
lost two laps, and I was on pace, man. Yes, so
You
that
were
was
on
the worst
pace.
part.
What's this bit? Let's have a look.
Okay, so I'm ahead. Butler and Burridge are going to come around the outside.
Always
Burridge
risky.
starts coming down,
Always risky, that is.
but I'm going forward when he comes down.
I was so
And
close to the wall last shit.
Yeah, that's NASCAR for you, so that's fine. Let's have a little look.
Okay, Burridge is gone.
So there he's ahead, but now I'm coming into the gap that he dropped
Yes.
down into me.
Nothing you
can't
can
do
do about that. No, nothing you
can't
can do
brake,
about that.
mate.
No.
You can't brake, and I got a guy on your back.
No, because if you break, McFly dies.
McFly dies, yeah. That's just coming down too early. That's all that is.
And I'm not really
Yeah.
drifting up now. I'm start drifting up, but I wasn't drifting up before that.
I don't know.
Yeah, he
that's
should.
not
He
good.
just held the line a little bit longer around the outside. Would have got past you
I mean,
easily, and then,
And I mean,
That's
he would have
easy
had Butler slip store as well. so-
yeah.
We
When
do.
it happened, I felt it wasn't really my fault, but I always
No.
like to check the replays afterwards. And
I
don't
wouldn't
feel
say
it.
I wouldn't say that is. What happened with you, Jay? Because that's one bit that I did miss near the beginning
So,
with
like,
the front pack.
yeah, Burridge, like tapped Butler like mid corner, and
Right.
it slowed him down, and I just didn't have time to react.
Fair
I went
enough.
in.
You don't have the footage, do you? Just because so we can see it. Sadly, I don't have the first part of the race. Sadly, but I just wanted to see it. That's all. Show the stream.
So
Oh, you missed the opportunity to chat and see me absolutely shit the bed.
Oh yeah.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
he's I think
Well,
he-
just go back a little bit further and just play it again.
back a little bit further.
Yeah, and then just play it again.
Doing a lot of off the mid-core.
I don't think that's anybody's fault, really, is it?
No, not really. I would say that's a
One of
bit of
those.
net coding as well.
Well,
There's
you
a
see his
bit of
car
net
go
coding.
inside
It's like-
mine.
Yeah,
Right,
and you can see it. You can see Jay's going inside as well. So I think
Yeah.
there's a bit of net coding going on. Unless he really let off massively. Can you get pedal inputs up for me, Jay? Just literally. Oh, it's at the top there.
It's
Sorry,
at the
yeah, I
bottom
didn't
left.
see that.
Oh, yeah, top there,
I
yeah.
see that. Just rewind back. Let's just see if he lets off. Yeah, he does.
He does.
So you can see that he lets off the accelerator, which he shouldn't really do
Just a panic
around the
button.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only marginal, really, wasn't it?
He actually let off the pedal before tapping me. So he probably
Yeah.
thought I'll let off to make sure I don't hit him and hit me anyway.
No, he doesn't. So go back. Go back a bit further. Go back a bit further. There. Play it from here. Play it from here.
You see the pedal trace?
So he's
He is off
left.
there.
He's off, and then he taps you, and he lets off a bit more,
Yeah.
and then he's back on it again. So yeah, he's just trying to manage the slip, and just got caught up in it. And sadly, that sent Jay to the shadow realm as well as
You see
someone
the
else.
mini map just going round and
Yeah.
round and round.
Oh, that's a shame. But that's just
It is.
that's a racing incident, really. I don't think there's much
Yeah,
really in that,
that's what it
sadly.
is.
Especially with NASCAR, any of this sort of shit can happen, really.
Ooh, go to lap 39, Jay. You'll see a funny.
Let-
I absolutely shit the bed when he rejoined. Complete
Yeah, the
panic.
rejoin's pretty poor.
I think I could have got through, but I just wasn't expecting him to. I was waiting for him to stay on the apron.
Yeah.
This is him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to watch
So
Huey.
after he has
though.
the incident with
You wanna watch
Collie,
Huey.
watch me, and watch me shit the bed.
So what
So-
happens here? So there's you, there's him.
Is it before this?
Yeah, I think it's like 26 minutes, probably 27 minutes,
Oh really?
probably, because it's just after he had the thing with Collie.
Yeah, it was that same corner. It was that same incident that triggered it off. Yeah, this bit here. Here we go. So just play it from here. So we can see that, you know, Burridge does slightly come down the hill a little bit too early. There is car on the inside. Racing incident can't really be helped about
Or
that.
McFly,
Sadly,
actually,
McFly gets murdered as well, gets caught up, but that's NASCAR for you. And then sadly, rather than staying on the apron, just rejoins mid-corner. And sadly, could you go on to Huey? Because did you actually hit the wall at all there, Huey?
I did, yeah, because
Oh, it
I
didn't look
couldn't
like it then.
brake because I've got the squadron behind me.
Yeah.
So, literally had a squad behind me. Look
Yeah,
at this.
everyone-
Look at all three of us. Going
Everyone's
caught up
got
in that
very
shit.
lucky there, actually, in all fairness.
The other two did, yeah.
Yeah, they got very lucky.
Which car?
Find a car on the wall.
Flying there.
So that one there, that one's Francis. So if you watch from Francis, so ironically, because they hit the wall earlier, they got away with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were actually okay, weren't they?
Yeah, because they hit it earlier. Crazy. But yeah, it was just an unsafe rejoin. If he stayed on the apron, you three would have carried on going.
Hmm.
That's the reality with that one. And that's where it's a bit different from, you know, racing incident of what you just went through, Jay, earlier in the race. To, you know, that's a big human error. Very unsafe, especially when they're doing like 200 miles an hour around the fucking corner.
Did you catch my 360 on like the last lap, boss man?
No, I don't think I did. I was too busy watching Butler and... In fact, can you go to Butler and McFly and go to the
Yeah,
last
go to
lap?
Butler. Go to Butler.
Yeah, it was so close.
It was amazing. Exactly the same lap time.
Was it this
Exactly the same lap time. Literally last lap, Jay. Literally last lap.
I just wanted to make sure I was on the inside for the last corner.
Here we go. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Well, that is a close finish.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh, he's coming.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom.
Oh, wow.
That is great finish.
Literally. In fact, is there one more lap to go? Because they seem to.
No, that was it.
Is that it then? But yeah, that is very close.
That is tight.
Very, very close. But that's what I look for in NASCAR racing. That sort of racing is good.
It was a good fun race. It was a fun race.
Actually, it felt like an NASCAR race because it had that sort of.
Right, whilst we're just quickly chatting, I'm going to end the stream. So there you go. We do look at things quite lightheartedly here at PNR, so you get a bit of insight into how I look at stuff and how the rest of the community does. But my word is pretty much final with that, just to save any kind of debates and stuff like that. So yeah, all very good driving really, just apart from a couple of instances here and there where just a lack of overall experience shines a little bit, but overall the racing standard was incredible tonight. So thank you all very, very much for joining in to our race this evening, and I look forward to seeing you guys back maybe in some Formula 3 this Sunday, or even, and look how close that is between McFly and Butler towards the end of the race. Insane. But yes, I will catch you all Sunday night when we'll all be heading to the Circuit of the Catalunya in some Formula 3s. See you later.